Hi everyone, this is my review of the Nikon 85mm f1.4D prime lens. This is a lens that I've had about 7 or 8 years now, and obviously I've used this for portraiture mainly, which is the main reason it's designed for. Mainly most of my work takes me into portraiture and landscape situations. I found that one thing I really like about this lens is its extremely good build quality. The thing I actually prefer about the old D lenses is how well they were actually built, well most of them anyway. This lens benefits from having an f1.4 aperture. That does several things. It allows you to shoot in available light. It allows for a very shallow depth of field depending on your sensor size and subject distance and all these other variables, subject to background distance, all this sorts of stuff, but it's an extremely good lens for isolating a subject, extremely sharp lens, even starting off at f1.4, but especially when you stop it down. The thing I really like about this lens, as my other lens that I talked about in my previous video, the 135mm f2, is that it has a very unique rendering. In fact, both of these lenses' rendering are so similar that it's almost like just the focal length that's different. This lens gives a very unique rendering to the skin, and its colour and contrast reproduction are extremely accurate and very delicate on faces. The f1.4 aperture allows you to have situations where you have just the eyes in focus and the rest of the skin will softly be blurred out, which is very good for people that have less than perfect complexions. Because let's face it, how many people do we photograph with perfect complexions these days? The thing that's very good about this lens is that its autofocus is quite fast. It's a little bit noisy, as with most of the old D lenses, because it uses a screwdriver autofocus function where the camera body actually plugs into the back of the lens and actually rotates you can actually see it just there, actually rotates the lens elements from that. I've found that I've really no need to upgrade to the new G model. I think that's probably a bit more contrasty, but believe it or not, that's the exact opposite thing that I want from a portrait lens, within reason of course, but certainly I think this lens just is excellent the way it is, and the only real update reason I can think of is probably the weather sealing, but I don't really take many portraits in the rain, so it's not really that much of a problem to me. Most of my photography is available light, and it's certainly what I use this lens for mostly. I used to have a flash, but I sold it. And I certainly don't diss people that use flash, because I think that understanding how to use flash actually makes your available light photography much better. For example, understanding short and broad lit situations for portraiture, Rembrandt, butterfly lighting, how to light someone's face with a flash is something that lends itself to making a good image. So if you can understand how to use flash, it's extremely useful. I just find that carrying it about, it's just too heavy, and this just works better for me. I tend to go about looking for situations that are going to make this lens sing, and obviously that's always about the light, both the quantity of it and the quality of it. I'm always shooting near windows, lighting parts of people's faces with the light from the window, closing the drapes of the curtains to get certain lighting situations, placing people under trees, all these sorts of things. This lens is very good for isolating a subject from a distance as well, just because of its f1.4 aperture. You can be a little bit away from them and, for example, get a whole body shot. If you take the image at f1.4 or f2, you'll find that most of the background will start to blur, so if you have stuff in the background like trees or something, it'll just fall out of focus and look really quite beautiful. This is a lens that I'll probably not sell or upgrade to the new one, as I've said before. If you want to see this in action, I've got loads of images of it. Just check out the info below the video and have a look on my Google+, Facebook and Flickr if you want to have a wee look. There's also albums that stuff's arranged into, so you can look around, and you can also ask me any questions if you want in the video below. Anyway, thanks for looking. The last thing I should say is that this is a lens that I used to use on a D700 camera, but I actually use it on a D800 now, and it absolutely sings on that. So don't be worried about buying it and listening to all this crap that you hear about people talking about the big sensor of 36 megapixels, or the fact that probably 52 or 54 will come soon and whatever. The more resolution you place over this lens, the more you get out of it, and it's generally the same for all lenses. It's just that it's one of these sort of things that your techniques has to be good and your shutter speed has to be high enough, um, so that if you're looking really closely at 100%, you'll see no motion blur. And you can certainly shoot this handheld with a D800, and even a person that isn't standing perfectly still, and get perfectly sharp images. I probably don't even go below not if I take a picture, I probably don't go below a shutter speed of about 1/200. That's probably the minimum around that area. I'm usually near 1/320, around that sort of area, but if you know what you're doing, you can get great shots out of this. So don't be afraid to put it on any camera that's around now, certainly, and I'm talking in 2014 here. Anyway, any questions, just write a wee comment below. Cheers, thanks for watching.